Skull! Man, what a fun game. Welcome to Skull! No, seriously. Welcome to the post-game reaction after that Thursday night football win. Rams over Vikings 30-20. Ending on a controversial sack by Byron Young because he grabbed the face mask a little bit. But ultimately, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Game's over. Rams win, sitting at 3-4. They might be back. Yeah, let's break down. Our article just went out already. Let's break down a little bit of some of my thoughts from the game here on the First and Tuna podcast. Go! Take that shit back to Lake Minnetonka. I love it. How quickly things change in the NFL. I fucking love it. Seriously, like this Rams team tonight looked exactly what they were supposed to be hyped up for in the preseason, even though they're still missing two offensive linemen. Really fucking cool to see. A lot of positives to take away from this game. Obviously, some work to still be done. Really going to hype up the positives tonight because ultimately I've got two theories that I had leading into this game. I'm basically just going to be using our article. It just came out already on the post game. It's up on firstandtuna.com. Check it out, please. I work very hard on these things. I love writing more than I love YouTube. So check them out, subscribe, get notifications for those. But no, seriously, just 48 hours ago, the media echo chamber could not shut the fuck up about Cooper Kupp's going to go to the Chiefs. He'll look good in Pittsburgh, blah, blah, blah. Done. I don't want to hear another word about a trade, about tanking on the season, about just getting draft picks. That shit's done. The Rams are going on a run for the playoffs. McVay said as much in this tweet right here from Adam Schefter. He's not going nowhere. He's happy to have him back. Absolutely not going nowhere. That guy's going to die a Los Angeles Ram. Also, speaking of dying Los Angeles Ram, in typical Los Angeles dramatic, cinematic fashion, what a way for Sean McVay to get win number 80. He is now the most winningest head coach in Los Angeles Rams history. Golf clap. No, you get a Jason Garrett clap for that. Hell of a win. How lucky are we as Rams fans to have Sean McVay? Really cool. But yeah. Got some four main takeaways for you guys. Let's dive into them really quickly. Big point number one, Kupp and Puka Nacua return to spark the offense. They fixed the red zone issues. Offense returns to preseason hype form. We're still missing Steve Avila and Jonah Jackson. It's going to be great having those guys back. But in a post-game conference with the Thursday night football, Amazon crew, Big Wit is on stage there, Richard Sherman, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Puka Nacua tells him, the streak starts at 1. McVay always has the guys ready for just the next step ahead of them. Tonight, they never looked flustered. Never looked like the game was too big for them, which is crazy to see. It's so fun. Despite this team being super young, seemed really within themselves. Honestly, what a time for number 10 and 17 to return. Puka mentioned that it was decided Monday that he was going to play, but got 0 reps in a padded practice, just all walkthroughs and all film room stuff. I noticed early in the game it seemed like he was doing the old Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, sometimes T.Y. Hilton move of just diving down, avoiding unnecessary contact where normally he would fight for an extra 2 or 3 yards, but man, you're dealing with an injury, just get down. Puka Nacua finished 7 catches, 106 yards, set the tone early and often, honestly. Stafford went right to him early and often. First play of the game was a drop. Shake it off. Kupp finished with 51 yards, 5 catches, 1 touchdown, and a ballsy 3rd down reception. They're in the 4-minute drill, trying to drain the game out, game clock out. And it's 3rd and long. They got to do something. Rather than just run it and hope they burn a timeout, they pass it. Cooper Kupp comes up with a huge catch. Fantastic. Ultimately, they do punt on that drive, but just to waste more time on the clock was awesome. With them back on the offense, it's not just about them winning one-on-ones or them just being better at their job. Because they're so good at what they do, it really just unlocks the playbook. It allows for more breathing room for the offensive line. The purpose and scheme and the whole concept of the offense can now actually breathe and live. A lot of the rules that the offense has, like perfect example, Brian Flores' defense is blitz heavy, stunt heavy. They get home, they get a lot of turnovers. Only got one turnover, no sacks tonight. Very early on, and I'm going to clip this in all 22 in tomorrow's episode when we do the bigger breakdown, like an exotic blitz where you kind of don't know who's coming in the first drive. Harrison Smith's going to come off from the slot like late. Matthew Stafford's utilizing the hard count early and often. And then just the communication was a lot better there because he has all his weapons. Like, the defense has to honor certain rules that the offense is now forcing on them because of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp being there. The blitz got picked up. Stafford didn't get touched at all. It was super cool to see on that play. With all that being said, offensive line still has to block. Hats off to them, honestly. They've been under scrutiny this season. They stepped up big in prime time. Number 2, Shula's defense adjusted. Played complementary football. So often we hear the same sound bites from McVay talking about staying on schedule, playing within themselves, not doing too much, and playing complementary football. They did that. The offense would go on a long drive. Even though the defense gave up 2 touchdowns really early and they looked really, really like bad drives, they adjusted. They were able to get forced punts. They were able to force sacks. Even when the momentum shifted after a Matthew Stafford interception, they went down, stopped them in the red zone for just field goals. Those 2 early scores, right? First 2 drives for the Vikings, 2 touchdowns. Game's 14-14 early on in the game. You're like, oh, damn, it sucks. Young defense, first-year defensive coordinator. They figure it out. Listen to this. The 45 minutes and 7 seconds after those 2 touchdowns only allowed 6 points, 2 field goals, racked up 3 sacks, I believe, 1 safety, and just a lot of pressures, man. Even when the blitz didn't necessarily get to Darnold, there was a few incompletions that were forced because of pressure. Even when a blitz or a stunt was picked up, the secondary held their own. Albeit Justin Jefferson's always going to find a way to get open. He had a pretty big game. They were able to pretty much stifle them the 3 quarters for 3 quarters of that game. Second effort from Verse, from Young, from Fisk. There's a play, the big sack in the 4th quarter. There's about 6 minutes left. It's like that. What a big moment for a young defense to step up. Normally, like past years, maybe we'd see this defense, like even with Aaron Donald, you'd see him play that deep shell, the deep cover 4, cover 3, and just kind of wait and allow a team to get in the red zone. No, man, they attacked. This one drive specifically, Braden Fisk just completely wrecking ball in the middle. Looked like Florida State, where he'd wreck the middle. Quarterback would try to evade right into Verse's hands for like a 13-yard sack. And then the final nail in the coffin, Byron Young's safety at the end. Yeah, it was a missed call. I think Rams fans, if I can just make an assumption, I think a lot of us don't give a shit because the lack of calls that just never go the Rams' way, even in home games. You can make all the jokes about the Rams not having true home games. It feels emphasized even more when the penalties just never go their way. It's kind of been that way this season too. I was very surprised that a lot of calls went the Rams' way. This final one being there too. Refs completely missed it. But our argument is going to be, like I said, for 45 minutes and 7 seconds, they only scored 2 field goals. They had 90-something yards to go, less than 80 seconds. Probably wasn't going to happen anyways, especially with their left tackle missing. So Byron Young called game. That is what it is. Point number 3, Matthew Stafford's a fucking wizard. Started seeing more noise where people are talking about he's aging, he's falling off the Matt Ryan cliff. He's not that. Missing your starting center and guard, your wide receiver 1, 2, tight end 1. What the fuck do you want him to do? The fact they've limped to this point before Thursday night, phenomenal. The dude, as Puka Nacua put it post game, he's our fearless leader. There's a calmness, a quietness that comes over everybody. His intangibles, his leadership, his gunslinger mentality where it doesn't matter until the clock hits 0, the game's not over for Matthew Stafford. Rams fans, Detroit fans know that too. He ends up finishing with 279 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 73% completion. He showed how much he missed his boys. That pick was pretty bad though, just a pure clean pocket, just overthrew his guy. From time to time, I'll see him miss. Like, he's got that 3/4 release. Sometimes it gets a little lower. He gets a little too cute with it, I feel like, because he's trying to use it to get a little bit of a particular arc, like in the hole shot for a cover 2 on the corner route. And it wasn't a good ending. But I'm never too worried. Like, literally, I've grown accustomed. Like, if I see a Matthew Stafford interception, not in the 4th quarter, I don't care. Like, as long as the defense is playing fine, like average, you expect 1 or 2 or maybe 3 errant throws from Stafford because he's an OG gunslinger. Like, that's what he does. But he's going to come back on the next drive and probably throw like 1 or 2 touchdowns the rest of the game, which he did. Big emphasis on that because even after that turnover, at no point in the game did it really feel like the momentum was overwhelming for even the defense. The moment didn't get too big. Like, despite this roster being super young and inexperienced, like there's only 5 starters left over from the Super Bowl. Or play within themselves. It's really cool leadership to see. Last point, believe in the playoff hype. I don't care if they're still under 500. They did it last year. They can do it again, and they're trending in the right direction. Like, a lot of noise in the subreddit, a lot of noise online about, only the stop being a homer, the season might be over with the trade talks and shit. You get your star receivers back. Avila, Jackson, like, they're creeping back. Like, they're going to be back in the next 2-3 weeks potentially. If this team starts getting momentum and this defense starts figuring it out, like they seem to have, like this defense played good in 2 games in 5 days. Like, that's a lot to ask from a defense. Like, guys don't really like Thursday night games because of shit like this. Like, you get a bad product on Thursdays because of that. But for 3 quarters, they proved they were clearly the better team tonight. It looked like it was going to be a shootout, turned into just, hey, Rams are a better team tonight. Really cool to see. Also, look at the schedule ahead. Okay, NFC West is up for grabs. Niners got their issues. Seahawks are always up and down, and the Cardinals are the Cardinals. They're a baseball team. That blowout earlier this year, not going to be the same when they play again. Next game, they got Seattle. That's huge. Like, that could be potentially fighting for 1st or 2nd in the division. Following that, you got 2 struggling teams in Miami and New England. Even though Tua is coming back for Miami, they're going to take some time to get ramped up there. They're struggling a little bit this year. New England is just a bad team with a rookie quarterback, with a great head coach, great quarterback, a defensive coordinator who is figuring out, like, it's going to take some time, and that time seems to be shaping around now to figure out how to use his pieces the best on defense. They very well can be 6-4 by Thanksgiving. And if that happens, I'm going to be obnoxious as fuck. Hop on the hype train now. Rams are making the playoff push. And that last bit, if you don't believe in the defense improving, despite no real turnovers except the safety at the end of the game, what was Aaron Jones' stat? Here it is. Aaron Jones finished with just 58 yards on 19 carries, averaged 3.1 per game. That's almost 2 yards less than what the Rams have been allowing this entire season. Even against the Raiders, they did pretty decent. Yeah, phenomenal job. The adjusting that he did in-game was great. Like, I love watching the Rams on Thursday Night Football because they always do this. We'll finish up with some game notes and thoughts I had just rattled off from the game. Herb Street referred to Quentin Lake as his father, Carnell, during the podcast, and I laughed. That was pretty funny. Didn't even correct it. He just let it roll. He said, look at Carnell down there. Like, he just let it go. Red zone woes be damned. I don't want to hear shit about McVay and his red zone. They were fucking perfect tonight. He was missing half his starters. Go figure. It's hard to fucking score without your starters. No sacks on Stafford. That sweet-ass fucking touchdown that he had where he evaded the sack ducked under two guys' arms, completed the cup. Welcome back, Cooper Kupp. That was great. The ageless wonder. Let's see. Young defense stepped up in critical winning situations. Yeah, with 6 minutes left, Verse and Fisk, they had that duo wreck on Darnold. Then again at the end of the game with safety. It just takes onions, man. Like, it's not a problem to have a young defense because sometimes they don't know what they don't know, and they'll just go out and play and like run fast. Really cool. Sense of urgency felt back for LA. God, I can't talk because I'm so excited. I'm all hyped up on fucking Mountain Dew. Yeah, it helps having 2 leaders back, I'm assuming. A shit ton of smelling salts and just adrenaline because there was a lot of false starts, but there was some juice there. They seemed to be back. It felt like week 1 again against Detroit. Like having your guys on the field is a huge plus. 2 opening touchdowns given up do need to be addressed by Shula though. Like I'm giving him his roses. They played good down the stretch, but it can't happen every week. Like you can't expect to play in like a phenomenal game, like complimentary football. Like you just can't, because what if you stalled out the first drive, right, or the second drive, and it's 14-7 going into half? You can't just give up 2 walk-in touchdowns because they were both wide open. It's got to get addressed. I think it had to do with the inside linebackers because you did have Spates and Hummel playing in there as well. So hopefully they can fix that communication ahead of Seattle coming up in a week. And again, man, improved run defense tonight, just over 3 yards average per gain. I'm really anxious to dive into the All-22 in the morning when it's released. I want to see what changed. I'm curious if it's just better play from the defensive linemen, just wrecking double teams and winning their one-on-ones, or if it really is from the usage of Hummel and Spates. Because 2 plays in particular, I remember seeing Hummel like just jumping the gap, like diving in the backfield. Even if he missed one, tripped up Aaron Jones on another play at the line. It was just a sort of aggression wasn't used to seeing from like Roseboom and Reeder. I know Roseboom played. Still didn't see him attacking as aggressively. At least it didn't stand out. If I'm wrong in the morning, I'll check it then. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I just wanted to come on, say hi, let you know the article is up on the website. And yeah, Rams win. And one more time. Let's go!